Clay. Cool and dense to the touch, clay holds its shape with quiet strength, smooth, grounded, and ready to become some mud. Wet and slippery, mud slips through your fingers. Messy, playful, and always on the move. Earth that went to therapy and came back wise. Let's be honest. Most of us don't pick up a lump of clay and immediately feel zen. But give it time. Somewhere between the mess and the making, something shifts. This video will show you in 4 parts how the simple act of working with your hands can help clear your mind and steady your soul. By the way, the links to the 2 books I'll be quoting, Artful Journey of Pottery and Pottery Florilege, are in the description below if you want to explore them further. So, let's begin with part 1. Clay as mental detox. There's something grounding about touch, especially when it's cold, heavy, and slightly sticky clay. You can't scroll, you can't multitask, you just have to be there. This quote from Artful Journey in Pottery in Chapter 6 perfectly expresses this point. Pottery teaches us patience, precision, and the art of turning imperfections into beauty. When your hands are deep in the process, your thoughts begin to slow. And maybe for the first time today, your brain stops sprinting and just exhales. There's something profoundly grounding about placing your palms against cool, wet clay. It presses back, soft but resistant, heavy but willing. You can't scroll while touching clay. You can't multitask. Clay forces your attention into the now. In that sense, it's a kind of detox, not for your body, but for your mind. As you work the clay, the noise in your head begins to fade. Not because your problems are gone, but because you're present enough to not be consumed by them. And that beauty isn't just in the bowl or cup you make. It's in what happens inside you during the process. You might begin with tension in your shoulders, shallow breathing, restless thoughts. But 10 minutes in, something shifts. Your hands lead, your thoughts slow, your breath deepens. You enter a space where doing replaces overthinking. You're no longer in control, but you're no longer fighting either. You're simply participating, responding, feeling. There's power in that surrender. Because when the brain won't stop buzzing, sometimes the best thing we can do is stop feeding it and start creating something with our hands instead. Pottery doesn't require deep insight or emotional breakthroughs. It requires presence. And presence, more often than we admit, is the first step to peace. Part 2. The flow of focus. You've tried meditating. You've tried journaling. And still, your brain says, did you ever email that person back in 2018? But when you're working with clay, hands messy, table dusty, wheel humming, you drop into something deeper than focus. You enter flow. Still in an Artful Journey Pottery, we can read this. The rhythm of shaping clay becomes breath. Inhale, press. Exhale, pull. You've probably heard the word flow before. That magical zone where you lose track of time, where you're fully immersed in something so present that the noise of life disappears. But flow doesn't come from forcing. It comes from entering just enough challenge, just enough curiosity, and letting go of the need to get it perfect. Pottery is a masterclass in this kind of presence. When you sit down at the wheel or hold a simple block of clay, your hands begin to move, and your brain, that noisy narrator, slowly gets quieter. You're not just shaping a bowl, you're adjusting pressure, managing balance, correcting small wobbles, noticing subtle shifts. You're focused, but not rigid. Attentive, but not tense. You're in it. You're not analyzing your to-do list. You're not thinking about yesterday's awkward conversation or tomorrow's worries. You're here with your breath, with this piece of earth, and something very human happens in that space. you feel enough. It's quiet but alive, still but dynamic. And this is where the real clarity begins, not in sorting thoughts, but in stepping into silence with your hands moving. Flow reminds you that you don't have to be in control of everything. You just have to be in contact with what's real, what's in front of you, what's unfolding. And even if you're not throwing clay on a wheel, Pottery Florilege offers that same invitation. By coloring simple pottery shapes, you naturally fall into a rhythm, a slow hand movement, a choice of see. There's no rush, no judgment, just a quiet engagement with shape and space. It's a small act, but it shifts something big. You start to realize that focus isn't something you force. It's something you allow by giving yourself the permission to be fully where you are. And whether it's clay or color, movement or stillness, your attention is no longer scattered. It's flowing gently but steadily, like the form rising from the wheel under your hands. It's a small gesture, but it helps a lot, and I'd love to hear your thoughts or stories about finding clarity through creativity. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Let's continue. Part 3. Mess, Mistakes, Mind Reset. Not every pot you make will be beautiful. Some will collapse, some will lean, some will haunt you gently. And in those flops, that's where the healing hides. Because pottery doesn't expect perfection, it expects presence. In the Pottery Florilege's coloring book, you can bring a shape to life with your colors. You're not aiming for perfection, you're trusting the process to reveal something soulful in return. In the Artful Journey of Pottery reminds us, collapse is not the end of form, it is the beginning of understanding. And that's true beyond the wheel. In life, we tend to fear the mess. We're taught to clean it up, hide it, apologize for it. But what if clarity actually comes through the mess? What if the mistake is where the learning lives? Pottery doesn't just make space for failure, it requires it. There is no growth without the pot that cracked, the glaze that didn't stick, the foot you carved a little too deep. And this is where Pottery Florilege quietly shines too. Even though it's just a coloring book, it invites the same lesson. No stroke is wasted. No strange color choice ruins the page. Each action, even the odd ones, adds personality, mood, feeling. There's freedom in being imperfect on purpose. You don't control the whole story. You participate in it. And that's incredibly healing, because in the studio, the wheel, or the quiet corner of your desk, mistakes don't carry shame. They carry information. They tell you what works, what doesn't, what's worth trying again with a new rhythm. They reset your mind by reminding you, you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to stay in the process. And when you let go of being perfect, something beautiful happens. You stop judging every move. You start listening. You start learning. You start enjoying again. Clay gives you permission to try again, to mess up, to reshape. Part 4. Finding clarity in doing, not thinking. We spend so much time thinking about clarity. But clarity often comes through doing, through repetitive motion, soft focus, and silence filled with texture. Pottery becomes a dialogue between the creator and the clay. One speaks through form, the other through feeling. Artful Journey of Pottery, Chapter 10. The pot doesn't ask you to be a master, just to show up, to breathe, to be open. You don't always know what you're making at first. You just begin, and slowly, as your hands move, the shape responds. And so does your mind, because the clarity you're looking for, it's not always an answer. It's often a moment, a breath, when everything quiets, and suddenly you see. Not with your eyes, not with logic, but with something deeper. This is what Pottery Florilege offers too. in its quiet way. You begin coloring a shape without knowing what it will look like in the end. But as you go, you feel a shift. The act itself becomes enough. It's no longer about finishing the page, it's about what you discover in the act of filling it in. We often wait for clarity to strike, but maybe clarity is built gently, slowly, through repetition, presence, and humble creation. You don't have to think your way through everything. You can create your way into it. One line, one touch, one bowl at a time. And in that doing, without even realizing it, your thoughts begin to settle. Your mind becomes clearer, and the noise of life is replaced with the quiet rhythm of hands, earth, and breath. The outlines may be silent, but as you bring them to life, they begin to echo something deeply personal. In the stillness, you find yourself. So next time your mind feels like a browser with 47 tabs open, don't overthink it. Just grab a little clay. This marks the end of our video. Again, the links to Artful Journey of Pottery and Pottery Florilege are down in the description. They're both beautiful reads, full of calm and creative insight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if this brought you a little peace today. And tell me in the comments, what helps you find clarity when your mind gets loud? In the next video, we will explore how shaping clay can shape your attitude. Until that, stay grounded, stay messy, and keep shaping your clarity one gentle touch at a time. Bye.